Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for July 28, 2022, the Take the Serious Fraud Office Seriously edition. And we begin with that story from the Financial Times in an op-ed piece. Kat Rutter-Pooley says that the UK won't take fraud seriously until they take the Serious Fraud Office seriously. And this is a really provocative article about the 2 recent reports on the Serious Fraud Office and their missteps. But she finds the UK's overall approach to fraud prevention, detection, and enforcement seriously lacking. She hopes that these reports will help move the ball forward for fraud enforcement in the United Kingdom. And she ends by saying, quote, "The Serious Fraud Office as the private eye, it's rather the Serious Farce Office, as the private eye is fond of calling it, limps on. It needs fixing and funding. Until the government does that, it is a sign that UK's commitment to fighting fraud is farcical too." Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, Credit Suisse plans a strategic review as it replaces its CEO. The question I have for Credit Suisse is, will it contain an assessment of corporate culture, specifically around the risk management and cultural failures of Credit Suisse for their missteps? So we can only hope that Credit Suisse will review its culture. From ESPN, an interesting article that Neymar, the world famous soccer player or football player, if you don't live in the United States, Barcelona and Santos will stand trial on October 17th on fraud and corruption charges over the transfer of the Brazilian forward to Barca, Barcelona, in 2013. The Brazilian investment group DIS said in a statement. So here we have fraud in transfer of players, a very interesting type of fraud going on or alleged to be going on. And the case stems for a complaint by DIS, which owned part of Neymar's transfer rights and alleged it received less money than it was entitled to when the player joined Barcelona. And our final story is yet once again Elon Musk. And although the court has set a trial date of October 10th, Musk wants to move it back to October 17th. Musk seems to be not on the understanding that the court runs its docket and not him. But the bigger problem for Musk is he is apparently in front of a no-nonsense judge who's not going to put up with his shenanigans. The trial itself is only scheduled to last 5 days. So good luck, Elon Musk. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.